Hello, my name is Peter Raymer, and today I want to show you how you can add a D365 email notification type. So in a past couple of videos, I showed you how to set up these email notification profiles, how to list different events that can happen in the system and tie those events to email templates so that emails can be sent out to your customers when those events occur. I've also shown you how you can extend those email templates to add your own custom fields. Well, finally, I want to show you how you can add your own email notification type, which would be your own specific event that you want to set up. Maybe you've got a process within the sales order system that you want to send an email out, or perhaps you've got just a totally separate process where you want to leverage this existing functionality, the base batch job, as well as the email templates. All of that you can do by leveraging this functionality and adding an email notification type. So let's jump in. This is going to be fairly technical. I'm going to go through a bunch of code, but I'll walk you through each one of the steps. In this example, we're going to create an email notification type for a return order. Right now, when you invoice an order, whether it be a return order or a sales order, it does send out this particular email ID saying, hey, that order's been invoiced, but maybe you want a really custom email template specifically for those return orders. So we're going to add this one where you have a return order, and then specifically we've got this return order template. I've got some notes in the article that explains how to add this particular email message, but it's going to look something like this, where it's going to have return order language tied to it. So let's go back and let's jump into the code. All right, before we walk through the main steps of adding the code, I wanted to explain a few things about the classes in the code that will help you understand. Basically, there's two classes that we work with when it relates to these notification types. There's one called RetailENInfo, which really stands for event notification, that EN. And then there's another class called RetailOEN, or order event notification, and this is a child class of the enInfo class. And so if you're creating an event for just anything not related to an order, so perhaps when the customer gets created, there's an existing one. I'll show you that one in a second. This is extending the enInfo class. However, when you're doing something related to an order, creating an order, shipping an order, invoicing an order, a return order, we want to extend the OENInfo class, because that's going to contain a few extra methods that are helpful for getting information out of sales orders. It means we have to write less code. So that'll make more sense in a second, but understanding what the difference is and the hierarchy of this architecture will help you as we go forward. All right, first and foremost, to create a new D365 event notification type, you need to open the base enum called retail event notification type. Then you can extend that event notification type by right-clicking it and saying create extension. That'll add it to your project, and then you can add your own one to this list. So in this case, I called it tutorial return order, and importantly, I gave it a label, return order. That's what's going to show in that drop down in that form you already saw. So okay, step one is done. We've added the notification type. All right, step two is we have to decide which class we need to extend. Again, we talked about that some already. If it's just unrelated to an order, you can extend this enInfo, and then for an example, you can look at this class RetailENInfo customer create. It'll show you what the methods are that you need to create yourself to follow along. Similarly, if you're extending or creating an order event for an order, you can extend the RetailOENInfo class. So look at this example, MCR RetailOENInfo underscore gift card issue. This is going to have several of the methods that you can follow along to map yourself. So let's go through it and you'll see what I mean. In this case, we're doing a return order. So we want to actually extend the the RetailOENInfo class. So let's take a look at that. That one's going to be right here. So once we're on this particular class, we can write it like this: extends RetailOENInfo. We need a few pieces. We need to define any new additional placeholders we want to use. Maybe we don't have any additional ones, but most likely you are. In this case, I've got some things like RMA number as well as the quantity that's being returned. So that's one key piece that you need to add. The second piece is you need to implement this method, event notification type, and then return your new type. This tells the system what notification type this class is associated to. The next thing we need is to implement this class called resolve, or this method called resolve sales order. This is going to take the ref rec ID that's passed in by the system when this event happens, and you'll see that in a second, and it's going to use that ref rec ID to find the sales order. In this case, we've got a custom invoice jur that we're passing in at this particular point in time because this is an invoice sales order. It's going to find that custom invoice jur, and then it's going to use that invoice journal's sales ID to find the sales order and call parm sales order. That's going to set the sales order table buffer, which is really sales table, on the base class. That's a little confusing, but the point of this is we just want to get the sales table buffer populated so that the rest of this functionality works. Next, we need to populate this generate sales line table. This is going to do the work of taking excuse me, the HTML block within our email template, and then it's going to loop through all of the different sales lines that are part of this order. In this case, it's joining to the invoice, custom invoice trans, so we get just the invoice sales lines. Then it's calling create sales line map and basically combining all of our placeholders to get a single result string back out. So this is helpful and needed if you're going to change kind of which sales lines are being processed. All right, you can have your own methods like get sales line quantity to pull in some additional information if that's what you need. But then the other piece you need is you need to implement a init parameter map. A init parameter map is going to contain the placeholders we want for this particular event. So in this case, RMA number, I'm going to read from the sales order dot return item num, which is an existing field, and place that in this particular placeholder. So similar as we did when extending an email template. Next, we need to implement the create sales line map. This is going to take each sales line of that order, and for each one of those sales orders, it'll call the base class and fill in those placeholders. But then additionally, if we have our own placeholders, in this case to return or returned, we can get that information and put those in those placeholders. So those are really the key methods that you have to implement. There's one more that's an optional method. There's the initSetting method. If you look on a couple of these existing examples, you might see initSetting. This is really only necessary if you're planning on using the event profile on the channel, which is maybe a good idea. This will make sure that it's pulling from that channel. Otherwise, it's really just looking at the event profile that's set up on commerce parameters. So if you're going to have different event profiles, you do want to override this init setting If you do that, you do need to make sure that this method is calling resolve sales order and init parameter map, because that's what the base method does, and we need to make sure that these two methods get called. All right, so now that we've got a new notification type, we've got a class that basically builds that email and fills in all the placeholders, there's a few more pieces that we need. One is we need to add to the constructor so that it will actually create this particular child class. So it's a little confusing, but we want to do chain of command on RetailENInfo, so the very base class. I told you OENInfo is a child class of ENInfo, so we can just do this on the base class. And we're going to do it on construct uninitialized. We could put it on the construct method, but then we'd also need to call initSetting as part of it. So if we actually just put this on construct uninitialized, it's slightly less code for us. So we just basically run the base one, and then we check if the notification type that we're passing in here is our new one. If it is, we're going to instantiate our new child class and return that to the calling program. So that's one other piece that you've got to implement. One more piece is actually we need to extend the retail event notification action table. So we're going to do chain of command. This is the table that the system inserts into when this event occurs. It basically populates the notification type. Then the system's going to loop through those records when the batch job runs and build that email. Well, normally we wouldn't necessarily have to implement this. We would just go find in our code where we need to insert this record and either call insert retail OEN action or call insert retail EN action, depending on which class we're using. But in this particular case, the system already is calling an event when a return sales order gets invoiced. So we really just want to intercept that. So we're going to override this, say that if what's happening right now is the order invoice, but the sales order is of type return, we're actually just going to switch this. We're going to say that the notification type is this return order, call insert retail OEN action, and then the system's going to then use the email template associated with this order event. So it's a little different in this particular case, but hopefully that makes sense. In general, you just want to call insert retail OEN action when your specific event runs. One more note is that whenever we're calling this insert retail OENInfo, it actually has a number of checks to make sure that this is a call center order, that it's a retail notification type. Basically, all of these need to be true for it to actually create this action. If it's not, if it's just a B2B order, a regular sales order, then it's not going to create these actions and send out the emails. So we need to actually add our event to this check. So we need to implement and extend this MCR is retail notification type. We can call the base code to make sure that, to get this value, but really we're checking and adding and saying that our return order should also be considered as a valid notification type in this case. So we want to return true, and then that causes that record actually to be inserted in the system. So those are really the changes. I know those were a number of changes. The main one just being creating this method and making sure, or this class, and making sure that you're implementing each of the methods that are really required. Once you've got that code created for testing, you can just run this specific event that triggers your code. So in this case, we would create a call center sales order. We would then invoice that sales order, and then, and I think I've got a few forms open, we would need to go to all return orders, create an RMA. We would then need to do an arrival journal, an item arrival, and then finally we'll get this in a registered state. We can go back to our original sales order that gets created from this RMA, and then we can go to invoice and invoice that return order. I know that's a bunch of steps. I can create a separate video with that, but essentially you're going to create that return order and invoice that return order. Once you've done that, then the system is going to see your new notification. It's going to create that record and then create that email template using that new class that you created with the additional placeholders, and then it's going to look something kind of like this when it comes back out. Let's see here. Right here. So you can see this gives very specific return language, which is really nice. Our RMA number, you can see I made a mistake in my email template. This should be account instead of customer account to make sure that this gets replaced properly. But that's really it. So there is quite a few steps needed to make those changes, but in the end it just comes down to a few different classes and filling in those methods, but then you can leverage all the existing functionality, which is going to save you time as a developer as opposed to creating your own email from scratch. It'll also make it easier for users to follow along in that email adoption. For more information, you can go to this Microsoft article on just the different transactional event types. This won't give you details on how to extend it, so hopefully you'll find this video helpful if you're trying to do that. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you watching. If you liked the video, click the like button. I also invite you to push the subscribe button as well. If there's other topics you would like to see a video on, please post in the comments and I'll see what I can do. I hope you learned something new today. Thank you.